Hello, everyone. My name is Justin. I'm joined here today by my best friend Gage. Where is it scary, Wisconsin? Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. Is it scary, Wisconsin? If you like the merch here, it is it scary, Wisconsin, which unfortunately we're not wearing today. We're both in kind of cool down and chill mode. Make sure you check out the links in the description. And remember, there's a lot of poser wannabe imitators out there. But if it ain't, is it scary? It ain't shit. Today we're talking about our post scare acting experience. Um, unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm not going to have as much video footage or any video footage like I wanted to get for you guys. Uh, the scene lighting just was not quite appropriate in this scene. There are other rooms in the house where it would probably work really good, but the room we were in, there was like one point where I saw how the camera was working, and I'm just like, I'm just going to focus on the scare acting. I'm just going to focus on the experience. And I'm really glad I did. It was a ton of fun. Spoiler alert, it was a ton of fun, and I think Gage agrees with me. So I'm just going to kind of set the scene for you here. Gage, how you doing today before I get into it?
Bruce, I'm raspy and my body hurts. I have never. So, okay, going to bed that night, last night, my body was cramping so much. It was like, what the hell did you do today? Why did you do this? And I'm like, oh my God, I am getting older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that usually happens around 28, 29 years old where you're like,
Yeah,
ah, crap.
yeah.
I'm not
You
as young as I once was.
you should have seen me up there, man. Like there was at some point where I got my scaring and I'm just laying on the ground like this. And Sierra came up. She's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Just do your thing. I'm so glad you're here."
Bro, I gotta have a second. um, so it was a lot of fun, and it was a very informative experience. But it was also, I'm gonna be honest about it because again, Gage, I'll let you be the cute and nice guy, and I'll be the guy that tells it how it is. Um, Walking in, I had this impression of what it was gonna be. And I've been talking with a few other scare actors from around the state, and I just tell them, I'm like, I know my physical limits. I know my abilities. I know what I can do. I know I'm not going to be running up and down stairs all night. It's not happening. I know I'm not going to be hanging out windows. My body's just not built for it anymore. But I know my strong points, and my strong points are loud voice. My strong points are I'm really strong. And I thought, okay, once I saw the scene, how can I use my strengths to an advantage in this scene, right? That was kind of what I was looking for, because when we were put into it, when we were put into the scene by the owner, shout out to Tony for giving us the opportunity, and of course the family and everybody for bringing us in. Um, he said, "Here's your room. We call this the da da da. Here's your scare opportunities. Here's some tools you can use if you want. Um, Good luck." And that was it. He literally didn't, you know, if a kid comes through, go easy on the kids. Don't be chainsawing their face or
I'm
anything.
so glad I asked that,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm really happy you told us that. But for the most part, we were given creative freedom. Would that be fair, Gage? You and I were
Yeah,
given creative
yeah.
freedom on how to handle it, and it was. I'm used to putting on like 50-pound suits of waders and walking against the current in rivers all day when I go like trout fishing. So I am used to that really heavy physical exertion. I don't know if I'm used to it after working all day and then, probably not eating like I should and this other stuff. So I started to feel it probably around like 9:30, 10 o'clock, where I was like, yeah, bro, you're going to be tired the next day. Um, I woke up this morning, and other than some personal issues that I deal with on my own, um, I'm fine. I feel fine. But it is a very demanding experience. It is mentally demanding.
Repetitious.
It is. It's very mentally and physically demanding. And there is a kind of like, well, I just want to go sit down for a little bit. Well, you can't because the next three groups are coming in. You know, like there is no opportunity to just stop. You know what I mean? Now, if you have a breaker that walks through the rooms and says, "Hey, do you need a 5 or 10 minute break?" That's probably a little bit different. We weren't in that situation, and
We went hard for those 5 or 6 hours.
yeah, it was 5 or 6 hours where it was just go, and so it happened to be on probably one of their busiest nights ever at this location, and it was
They
a good.
pre-sold 100 tickets.
They pre-sold 100 tickets, and I think that beat their old record. And then, I mean, they had the line out the door basically all night long. So there were moments where, you know, Gage, if you want to interject with anything, just feel free. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of talk about the experience.
Well, I'm ready to talk my piece too. Um, so
You know,
I want to say we have we had two different styles here of scare acting. Because I mean, one could say like, "Oh, Justin doesn't know what he's talking about," stuff like that. And I'm not saying he doesn't. I want to say it to his face so I can see him get a little triggered. I didn't trigger him yet, so I'm gonna try again here.
hey, to be fair, uh, and other actors in the industry that I have talked to about this can corroborate this. I know my strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah,
I know what I'm not going to be able to do, and that is running laps in a room all night long. It's just not going to happen. My body's not built for that anymore.
exactly.
But I did know where I could get scares, and I felt like I stayed in those 2 or 3 choke points pretty well. And I feel like once they came there, and once after feeding for you, once they came to me, I actually thought we did relatively good getting the scares. I saw a lot of like reactions, which to me says, hey, that's a scare. Like, you got a scare. I would say out of all the groups we saw, probably 80 to 85% of the groups that came through got a scare. That's, I mean, to me, for a first time actor, that's pretty good.
And I mean, the room that we were in, I don't want to speak too much because I don't want to keep it kind of confidential for
Yeah.
revenge. It really kind of put us in the opportunity for a scare because Tony was right. Tony did tell us, "Hey, you're gonna get a scare here. Our haunt is built for scares, and you're gonna get a scare."
Yeah.
And we got plenty of them I mean, sure, you could say, "Oh, you didn't come around the corner and say boo." No, we were in different unique situations where we can throw things open and then get in people's face. We can slam on things and then fall down. At least I would, and I'll speak my piece in a minute when Justin's done with his. But yeah, it's really set up for scares. And as he said, about that 80% of it, we nailed it.
I was surprised. Things that surprised me. I was surprised I made it the whole night. Because
you didn't pee. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. I never stepped out once. I was surprised I made it the whole night, and not just that, but you know about my personal life, you know about my personal self, some things that I deal with. So I was surprised I didn't have to step out at all. I was like, wow. I was like, I can't believe this is not being a problem. Holy cow. So I was surprised with that. I was actually surprised I was able to. Once the girls showed up, once the scare mates showed up, dude, it was on. Like, every group got a scare. It was like, I would say the scare was probably 97. The scare ratio was probably 97% once the other girls showed up.
So good.
It was good. It was good.
Justin was talking about earlier about how we didn't get much footage. on our own selves. However, I've requested from Revenge
Yeah.
to get, and hopefully we're able to get. I'm not saying we're going to. Hopefully we're able to. Some video footage of the time when we started to the next, and not only do we have video footage, I thought this through, and I saw their video cameras, and I realized their video cameras doesn't have audio. So what I did was, I know we'd be out. I was told we'll be in about 4 rooms or so. So I bought four audio recorders, and I put them
Nice.
in each of the rooms, kind of positioning where the camera is that we would see the scene, so you can kind of get that point of view and knowing where the sounds are coming from and that. And I'm really hoping to get a big compilation video out soon about that. Uh, Dude,
Yeah,
I'm
it was
sorry.
a
You go ahead.
it was a very and you know, dude, remember, to be fair, to be fair,
Hmm.
I think even for my bigger size, I think I am more physically active than you sometimes. That's not a shot at you. That's
Well,
just in
no, no,
general. It's
it's
just in general.
with your occupation compared
Yeah.
to mine,
Yeah, I'm
most
on my feet
definitely.
all
I
day
agree.
every day, you know, and when I'm not at work, I'm in the river. So, you know, it's like I'm kind
Hmm.
of trained for it, but I'm not, if
Agreed.
that makes sense to anybody watching. So, I don't think I have no like physical pain at all whatsoever. None. And I was ripping doors open. I was, you know, leading people into rooms. I was shouting at people all night. There wasn't a single group that came through where I didn't shout. Not one.
So,
Which is probably why I was so messed up later in the night. But yeah, there wasn't a group that came through where I was like, "You're late. Mother's waiting." Like I didn't skip a single group. I didn't sandbag any of the scares. I wanted to make sure that everybody had the same experience. Even like right, like even if maybe another group didn't do that, I wanted to make sure as a guest scare actor that I gave 100% or 110%. And Gage, obviously, I know you're in the same boat. Obviously,
oh, I do want to talk about how I got my scares.
yeah.
So as Justin said, with him being more of a taller, physical, bigger structure, it's easier for him to get the intimidating scares, as in slamming the door open and shouting "You're late," stuff like that.
Oh,
If
Tony,
you if you
I broke a few of your tethers, by the way. I think the one into the room with the casket was broken. I apologize. You'll have to fix that. I'm sorry.
and I think I broke your curtains a little bit. You just kind of got to staple that probably. Uh, so my scares were more jump scare orientated, and it I'm gonna say, as much as you want to say it, Justin, my scares and up there in that higher crucifix area is a lot more physically
No
demanding than what
question.
your
No
scares
question.
are.
I agree
Um,
100%, and I would never take that away from you. I agree
okay,
with you 100%. That's for the record, that's why you had it. Because I even told you going into it, I probably can't keep that pace all night.
because so I want to tell you so how my like a timeline, a quick little synopsis of my scares. I would go on top of the stairs, and this is kind of similar to what Sierra does in the group too. And you should see her when I see her working. By the way, I was like, holy cow! And she does this, every Friday, Saturday. I was impressed. But anyways, what I did was I'd wait up the stairs. Note, I never got a scare on the stairs. You never do that. And I was smart, even if I was coming to a point to where it was close, and then I realized they're almost on top of the stairs. I don't want to come around the corner and scare them,
No,
and
no.
and not like I want to say scare them, accidentally scare them, because some guy in a mask coming around the corner when you're walking up the stairs is
I
going to
wanna
scare the hell out of someone.
I wanna piggyback on that comment too when you're done. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. So so my voice hurts. Uh, so I do that. I either show them that my presence is there, and then they walk up, and then I run off into the an area. I don't want to give too much detail, and then I get ready for the next scare going into. Think of this room. You got 4 rooms, and there's like a crucifix, pretty much. It's a crucifix,
Yeah.
and I got in through the crucifix, get that one scare on that side, and then I would then move over to this side, get a scare there, and then as well as on this other scare. So I'm really scaring a group. if I do it right, and if I don't, there's not like a conga line. And by the way, we've seen a few. By the way, we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about that. If there's no conga line, I'm pouncing them multiple times. So I get those three scares, and then the last one, this is probably why. And if you look at me, I got bruises all here, bruises. This is hey, it's all right. It's I got clothes on, but I got a bruise even on my knee here from slamming myself against the wall multiple times where I had to burst through things, and then by bursting through, and I'm actually really surprised. Oh, never mind, this bruise right there. I'm actually on my right shoulder is what I mainly use. I burst right through something and then use an item to get in the people's way. And by doing so, Justin, how was my screaming, dude? Like, I was,
You were really, I will say this because like, I would only scream for like a second or maybe like a second and a half, but you were very like gave him the whole like psycho
yeah,
murder daddy scream, and I was like,
yeah,
man, I was like, Gage is gonna be rough tomorrow. I was
dude,
like,
I
he's gonna
was
have a
screaming.
bad day.
I was like, ah, ha, 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 ah, ha, and I started screaming and
It
throwing
was
that item around and
it
that.
was so good. Yeah. I
Dude,
heard you. I never actually saw what you were doing because I didn't want
yeah,
anybody to see me, obviously. But I
exactly.
heard you and I was like, if I was a customer coming through and didn't know where you were, probably would have got me really good. Like
But I've
that
got a
was
scare badge.
you might have. You actually might have if I was coming
Yeah,
through.
here. Oh, oh, thank you, Justin. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna put this on the wall. I gotta make sure if I have a scare badge, I'm gonna add "Is it scary Wisconsin" on Instagram so I can be put on their Hall of
So,
Fame.
um, yeah, and I even like when we started, right? Because the first couple of times we would try to stand at the top of the stairs, wait till the customer would see us, and then we would like take off. You would go in one door, and I'd walk all the way to the back door. And so, we were doing all this extra. And then
Hmm.
we got to a point to where it's like, well, I don't really have to be there. And then I just stand up front. They see me and I just duck inside the door and I give them a little like, come on, hurry up.
Hmm.
And that's a great cuz now they're looking at me waiting for me, and then you got them with the distraction scare. So,
Hmm.
that was one thing I wanted to talk about super quick is for having no scare acting experience whatsoever.
Dude, we did fucking. Our actions were. We did. We're trying not to. I'm amped. We did crazy, dude.
We did.
I didn't finish the word. I bet you could hear it. Go ahead.
For having no experience whatsoever and being thrown into, I would argue, is one of their most important scenes in the house.
It really is.
Um, I feel like we handled it really well and we adapted very quickly. Like, my lizard brain was like, okay, bro, creep him out, reach out and beckon him in. And then I was like, okay, wrap your hand around the wall and pull it through the door as you're closing it. Like, like I was just thinking about these kind of stupid little things. And for any experienced scare actor, you're like, yeah, I do that shit all the time. Okay, that's great. I don't. And so as I was going, it was like, oh, I was like, I should do this. I should try this. I can try this. Wow, let me do this. And as we were going, I was surprised how quickly we picked it up because I thought we picked it up really fast.
Right.
Once we got in a rhythm, we were off to the races. It's like, okay, it's like Gage does the scare up top. I rip the door open, I turn, and I go into the next room. And it's like, I don't care what Gage is doing. I just have to keep moving and I have to keep scaring, right? They come through, get them with a scare, run them through, point them to the doctor's office. Hopefully, Gage will get him here. Maybe he'll get him here. We reset, we do the next group. And I think this is a great time to segue into how we handled conga lines
Oh yeah.
because that is tough with two people in four rooms. So, what we ended up doing is it's like we would get our first two scares. I'd be in the back room telling people line up, blah, 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 whatever, send them through. And we would tap on the wall to give each other a little cue like, hey, this other group's still coming through. Like, don't go all the way back out. Just reset back in my room. So they'd come through, I'd line them up, he'd scare them again. So even if they weren't getting all 4 scares, they were still getting 2 or 3 good scares on the way out. And, I know we're giving 2 or 3 minutes between groups, but I am shocked how many times we had 12 or 14 people coming through that room. And it was wild. And so, of course, to me, I just, I see myself as just me. And these people are like looking at me like this, and I'm like, what are you afraid? Oh, that's right. I look
like a lunatic.
I look like I just murdered your friend. Okay. And like, it took a while for my lizard brain to catch up, because I'm just like, bro, you look like a monster. Like, you need to be aware of this. Like, you can't like be nice to people right now, because they're not gonna receive it. Their brains aren't going to receive it as kindness. They're going to receive it as you're trying to be creepy. So there were a couple kids that came through in big groups, and I don't mean teenagers doing 6'7", 6'7". I mean,
that happened.
Happened. It did happen, and I was just like 9, 10. What are you talking about? But there were a couple younger kids that came through, and it's just like, I would just be like, the doctor will see you. Like, I didn't want to like rip the door open in some 9-year-old's face. Like,
Exactly.
I don't want to do that. That's not why I'm there. I'm there. It's an R-rated haunt, really. I'm there to scare adults.
So, while we're talking conga lines, this is what I feel like. This is where my whole haunt reviewing kind of took me into the role of like, all right, I say these things, I should do these things. And what I'm saying is that with that first scare that I do is really it really sets the pace, because if I don't get that first scare with that first person, the person that would be in the next scare would not be ready, or they would be caught off guard. So it's really important I get the first one. And what the problem with me getting the first one is that I'm not getting the ones in the back or the other ones. So it's kind of, you don't need to overstay your welcome with the conga line in that first scare. You get that one, and I realize, and I kind of, as I'm looking over doing it, I'm saying like, oh shoot, there's like 10 other people back there. And I pull back, and then I kind of give it a second, and then I notice there's another group. Then I do the same thing over again. And then I'm thinking, okay, these people got treated to that scare. I'm going to do the same thing. And then with it being built as a crucifix, I got this scare here. I know they're coming around over here. So as I'm coming over there, I would kind of sit in the shadows a little bit with that item that I have. And then I'm seeing, okay, I scare that person. I'm going to let them go. 1, 2, 3, kind of thing. And get the person that wasn't leading, that I didn't scare. I'm trying to disperse scares, because, again, I always thought about, I'm in the front. I'm always getting, I'm always getting scared. I'm never getting scared, stuff like that. Or, hey, I was in the back. I didn't see any scares. So I was keeping that in mind as I was doing my scare acting, is that everyone paid. Everyone needs to be scared. Not one group should be prioritized. Balance your scares.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, this is just kind of like our reaction to the night anyway. So about halfway through the night, 2/3 through the night, whatever. So in the second room I worked in, a door swings open, it's a walkway, and then it's like like it feeds you out into the next section. And with the way things were going, if I would hear like one group coming, I was like, okay, maybe I don't have to go as crazy on this one. I can just try to be creepy. So I would step back so the door wouldn't hit me, and I would just stand there. When they would open the door, I'd just cock my head at them. And I was shocked how many people were like, nope, F that, and they shut the door. Because, like, I'm doing it, and I'm like, I look like a total idiot. Like, this is so cliche. This is every horror movie trope in the book that I'm doing right now. You open the door and the big dude's just standing there staring at you. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. This isn't going to get anybody. Literally, the first group I do it to, they all recoil back. Nope, F that, and shut the door. And I'm just like, oh my God, it actually worked.
Just a
So
quick question. Is that the quadrant where we have these four rooms? Is that this room that they were doing that in?
it's the room with the casket.
Okay.
I was doing that in the room with the casket. I was
Okay.
shocked that that worked because there was no, I didn't say anything. I didn't move suddenly at them. I didn't do any of that stuff. So I just cocked my head and it got the scare. So then, of course, when they opened the door again, I was like, "Hurry up! Come on, mother's waiting." You know, it's like, what are you scared of? You know, and then it even worked better because you came down from the side scares and were like, "What are you scared of?" You know, and like it was so intuitive. Almost, you can see different points where you can get scares. It was so intuitive, where it's like once you excuse me, once you picked it up, right? Once you picked up what you were doing and once you started to kind of get in the flow of things, that was, you could kind of tell, like, for instance, we had two girls towards the end of the night working with us. Outstanding. Like, they're so good. They are so good. And I would listen to each scare. I would listen to the first girl, and then I would listen to the second girl, and I would listen to what kind of scare they got through the wall. And if I heard the group react, like if I heard girls screaming or if I heard guys being, "Oh no, F this, man, I'm out of here," like if I heard this, those cues would tell me, "Hey, Justin, you're going to get a scare on these guys. Go ham, give it to them. So when they'd get to the door, I'd rip it open and I'd be like, "You're late." And I got so many people. Oh my God. But those cues, listening to those audio cues and those room cues are so important. I cannot stress that enough. As a first time scare actor or to anybody thinking about getting into it, you have to feed from the room before and you have to be able to feed for the room after you, right? It's very important that you can give the other actors a chance for success too, right? Like, the doctor will see you
Exactly.
now. The next room is the doctor's room, all right? It sounds rudimentary and it sounds, yeah, no shit to like any seasoned scare actors out there. But to people who are just getting into it, like, that's really important stuff, I think.
It is.
And
It
it's
is.
stuff that once we saw it working, we just kept doing it. And it worked. And the thing is, it didn't work once, right? The setup for you getting them from above and I ripped the door open, it didn't work one time all night. It literally worked all night. It was great. We were absolutely set up for success. uh, I would say Revenge put us in a position to succeed, no question. um,
The dogs.
I can see where it would be very hard to go at that pace 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Like, if they called me right now and were like, "Hey, do you guys want to come back out tonight?" I'd say nope, nope.
Yeah.
But I also have to work at 5 a.m. tomorrow. But I would say no. I would say no way.
I want to, before we move on to your next top point, when you're talking about pacing and
Oh, it's so important.
kind of adapting to the situation,
I would argue
uh,
pacing is the most important thing in a
well,
haunted house.
well, agreed. No, when I didn't, pacing was the wrong word choice. I'm talking about adapting to the situation
Oh
here
yeah, that's
because
also
what I
important.
did was while I was so this is when we had the two girls with us that we're working with. Um, uh, First of all, you got to know your place when it comes to scare
That's
acting.
that's
You
my
can't go
line.
over the top. You can't go ahead and be the top scarer. Know that someone else is there and set them up. If your scare's over, it's over. Set up the next one. So, with that being in point, what I did was because I stood out on top of the stairs, like I said before, and I saw they're coming. And then if I weren't able to get there, I would stand at a point to where I'm just a distraction. I stand there in my suit and I got something behind my back, and they're like, "What's behind his back and stuff?" So as they're coming over, they see me and I got somebody behind my back and they're really just focused on me. They're freaking out. And I can't tell you how many times someone's came up and they looked at me and they're just, and then like, you're right. They kind of freeze. They don't know how to react. And I'm just like, I gesture towards the side and come on, let's go. And then like I kind of pinpoint the one that is probably the most scared, and I just go. And what I did was I had a cute little teddy bear, so I just scared them with the little teddy bear. I can't tell you times they're like, ah, aw, like that. That was so cute. But that's not
But
the point I'm trying to get
but
at.
you also fed for the next person too.
Exactly, which is what I'm saying. So what I did was, as I got this scare, and they're walking around, I'm kind of leaning in over the fence, or I'm following them, and I'm kind of looking at them. They're looking at me. They're like, "What is this guy gonna do? He hasn't done anything crazy yet." So then, and if, for example, if one is taking forever to move, I took the teddy bear, and I'm like, and I went across over the fence where they're supposed to walk, and I'm like, oh, 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 and I point towards the door to tell them to go that way, and they're still looking at me. They're like, "This is supposed to be scary. What's going on?" And that's when you can. I know you're picturing in your head, Justin,
I didn't
how
get to
it
see
looked.
any of it, and I'm actually really disappointed because yeah, you were
We
on fire.
we got the with this video footage of it. I bet. Don't worry. But yeah, so I fed into the scare, and then I noticed when they don't move. Sometimes when they don't move, I'd walk up behind them, or if I'm not doing the teddy bear cute little jump scare, I would play dead. And then if I'm playing dead and they walk by me, I kind of look to make sure, all right, no one else is coming. So then I flop on the ground and I start crawling towards them. And then at the point to where I'm like, all right, I don't need to crawl anymore because I don't want to get stomped on. The problem is that a lot of them are too afraid to freaking go. So I'm like, all right, I start crawling at them. I'm like, getting to move, and then but that freaking worked. They panicked and just ran right in the next room, and that's where the other girl got that scare, and that's setting you up for yours. And then it's almost perfect because with that, with the one girl working those two quadrants, I would then get over for the very last one, and this is why I'm having bruises all over. Oh my gosh, that looks terrible. I This is why I'm having bruises. I would slam my body like I'm a dead body and then just drag myself in. And I can't tell you how many times I got that scare or the scare from above where I'm just leaning over and like literally I was like, oh wow, okay, thanks, camera. I
There,
would lean into their face.
there was let's talk about some of the some kind of things that we were warned about and told about to watch out for.
Yeah.
One thing I'm really glad that the owner told us about was watch for people kicking the doors open. Because, like, for me, that should never happen, right? Like, you should never kick the door open. You shouldn't be doing that. You should have some respect for somebody's stuff. And so it happened earlier in the night, so I was really happy it happened early. I had my hand on the door, and a guy, like, kicked the door, so my hand came back. But I'm pretty strong, so I kept it mostly shut. But I was like, oh, wait, that's a thing. So then I modified how I stood to make sure I didn't get a door in the face and get my face busted, which I don't have time for. So that happened. That was something kind of annoying that people did. To be fair, I only had it happen like 2 or 3 times, which this is kind of like a reaction video, was a surprise. I was surprised that I only had that happen 2 or 3 times all night. Customers saying stupid things, not 6-7, not any of that stuff. People are gonna do
Justin,
that. What?
I'm just saying before I know what we're leading up to,
Yeah.
I want to say a few things. Oh, no, never mind. You go ahead. You go ahead.
And I don't mean customers saying stupid things like 6-7 or are you my daddy or like anything like that. I mean like, so I had a lady come through. She was with her group, and again, the goal is to entertain, to scare, to interact with, to get people into the scene, right? So I was like, come on, you're late. And then one lady's like, what are we late for? I'm like, I'm like, not your mother's, but I just said for mother's funeral. And she's like, you know, that's not even funny. And I'm just like, pay your respects and go see the doctor. He's waiting
I
for you.
came in too.
Yeah,
I got the.
but you know, my point is, right? Like they taught, like, right there, it'd be like somebody going through a room and be like, okay, big tough guy, the scare is over, bro. The scare is over. Move on.
Dude,
You know,
I, I, I
trying to
never
be
told you
macho.
this. I don't I never told you this, man. But when the first few scares that we did with me being so loud and crazy, I did it, and some woman looked back at me. She's like, turn it down," and I'm just like, I did,
Yeah.
I did. I was like, I look at her, I'm like, I'm like,
It's a
you come
haunt.
to a haunted house and
Like
you
you
want me to
come
be
to like you
quiet?
come to a haunted house for like cuddles. Like I don't get it. Like what are you doing here?
I
You know?
never told you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot to tell you that.
yeah.
Someone
But
told me, she's like, turn it down a little bit, and I'm just like,
I'm like, nah, bitch. I'm gonna turn it up. But
go ahead.
you know. So that was really out of all of the groups. And again, I think this was like a near record night. I'm not speaking for them, but I think out of all of the groups, that was actually the only person I had that I would say really said something stupid, and it wasn't even that bad. Like I was just like, okay, lady, whatever. Like, go pay your respects to mother and get out. You know, I didn't say get out, but that's what I'm thinking. And that is another thing I want to talk about. I tried to stay conscious of making sure that what I was saying was in theme, and it
Mhm.
wasn't vanilla. So I would say, you know, go to see the doctor. He's waiting for you. Your tests have he got your test results or whatever. You know, and sure, there'll be a slip up from time to time where you'll be like, get out of here or something. You know, like move it. You know, let's go. Let's get going. You know, but for the most part, I tried to keep those vanilla lines to a minimum because I know how much we harp on those and I know how much that annoys us. Um, but again, I think in the spur of the moment, this would be something that I'm seeing now. I can see where a boo or a get out or something could, or like a help me or something could slip out. I can definitely see more now how that stuff can slip.
So, if I had to grade my own performance, and we should talk about grading our own performances, by the way. Um, I would have to give myself a -4 points, because,
Out of
well, I'm
10?
gonna say
Out of
-3.
10?
Not out of 10. No, I say like if the whole scares category was subject to me, -3 for, well, that's kind of greedy to say, but what I'm trying to say is that I came to a point to where I did say boo, but I was like boo. So I kind of,
That's not boo.
well, I said boo, and then I kind of realized I was like boo, and I got with that item, in their face. I did that,
Did you
and
scare him?
yeah, I think I don't remember. It was a lot of it, but anyways, another thing that I don't want to say I broke character, but I did find myself talking in a normal voice. But I feel like my guy, the way my thing is like the quiet stuff, and I'm
Creepy,
like,
creepy
hey man,
dude. Creepy dude.
creepy quiet. But there was that, what I'm saying is, what I broke character is when I left a little a hatch, a hidden hatch. I did accidentally bump into someone, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like that's just such a habit of me,
Oops,
being
sorry. It's
like,
such a Wisconsin
"Oh."
thing. Oops,
It's a,
sorry.
I really did pull in, "Oh, sorry," kind of thing. So I'm like, damn it. I, damn it. That's -2 points. I technically broke character. I should like, "Oh, sorry," something like that. But I just said like, I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Um, I don't think I can grade myself, and I'm being honest with you, um, because I actually thought I did really well, and I mean
Mhm.
that
You
sincerely.
saw you were a record, and I mean that in a good way. You were a broken record in a
I'm
good way.
I'm not
I heard you
trying.
saying the same thing.
I'm not trying to be like that guy at all. I actually thought I did really well for somebody that had no experience, and same as yourself, for somebody that has never done it before. I wouldn't say I was like 10 out of 10, but I would definitely say like 8.5, easy.
I, I,
That's without even getting critical. I
we
would
should
say,
say,
yeah, I'd say I was
I'm I,
probably, yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I wanted, before we move on, I just want to say it's funny because when we had, and I'm so glad Tony, the owner, did a walkthrough in the first part, because
So
I
funny.
told I totally botched my scare, and I'm so glad he did that with the item that I had
Yeah,
because I did it way too early.
that probably saved the night.
It would have saved the first customer getting
Yeah.
a bad taste
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, I did this way too early, and as soon as he did that, then an actual first group came through.
Yeah,
I
like
knew
2 minutes after.
exactly.
Yeah.
I knew I gotta wait. I gotta wait a little longer. So I'm so glad I did it. But okay, not only did I botch that scare, when I burst through the door, we shouted at the owner, "Get out! We got fresh meat!"
Boo!
Boo! You should have seen it. He started laughing because he.
I think he was surprised that we were actually doing that to him. Because he looked surprised, like, "Oh, you guys are so stupid."
Dude, we caught him so off guard with that. It was so good. Like, okay, I'll shut up now. I don't mean to keep interrupting you. I had to say because it was so freaking funny. He looked like he was walking through like, all right, and just trying to grade the performance, and we go, boo, get out.
I had this one group. It was a guy and a girl. They came through, and
We had some tough guys.
no, this was just a guy and a girl, and they were both scared. And
Okay.
I heard the girl before get the scream scare, and then I could see like the shadow cover up the doorway, so I could tell there was somebody standing there, and I was like, "Open the door." So finally, I ripped it open, and I'm like, "What are you waiting for?" And I got them both, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is so stupid! Like, what the hell?" I'm like, "Come on, hurry up! Don't stand in there. What are you afraid of?" It's just like whatever.
And I was at the game like, what are you scared of? What if my scares of something?
Let's talk about something that really annoys me:
Okay, let's do it.
people who swing in a haunted house.
Mm-mm.
So we talked about this going into it. I actually said this to you off camera. I'm like, one of us needs to get hit.
In a good way, as
Yeah,
in like
yeah,
we
in a good
kinda
way
want,
to like legitimize us. One of us.
well,
needs
not in a
to,
good way, but yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah,
Which is
one
legitimate,
of one
like,
of
hey,
us needs to get hit. And so I was going all night.
don't say it like that. We
I
don't
was-
need to get hit.
Yeah, we don't want to
but
get
we're
hit,
just
but-
we're really just saying like if we got hit, we can brag about it.
Yeah.
But we
And-
kind of realized how kind of immature that is until it happened. The
Yeah.
problem is
and
it didn't
so
happen to us.
So we go all night, right? Good
Mhm.
scares all night. Had some jumpy groups. We did have some jumpy groups, and we go all night long, going and going and going, scaring. The girls show up. It's like a hot tag in WWE. I mean, we were off to the races. It was awesome, right? Girls show up to help us out. We got 4 people in that room. Scare. I mean, dude, it's like a 7 or 8 scare opportunity in there. It was awesome. It was so good. One of the last groups punches one of the girls in the face.
Straight up.
And
I
I'm-
didn't quite see it, but I saw like part of it after.
And I'm just like,
A grown
so you
man.
don't punch the 2 intimidating figures. You punch, no
The
offense,
2 guys, the 2 guys.
no offense. You punch the little girl in the face.
Mhm.
Like
Not
what,
even an 18-year-old girl.
like what the hell is wrong with you?
Hmm.
What is wrong with people? I get it, right? Actors get hit all the time. People get scared. It's a fight or flight reaction. But it's like, dude,
If that's your reaction, you don't need to go. Like,
if that's your reaction, put your hands in your pockets. Put them in your hoodie pocket. Like stop. I mean, that is unbelievable to me. We go all night and we got so many scares. And at the end of the night, some dude punches a girl in the face. People are so stupid. To her credit, she kept scaring.
can I talk about how much of a rock star she was though?
Yeah,
Because
that was awesome.
so
It was really good.
because her and I were working that inner workings out behind the scenes together, and I did my normal end of the room scare where I slam against the thing, and then she kind of gets them, and I didn't really realize what happened because I knew there was another group coming, so then as I kind of got into the point to where I could see down the hall where she is, I see her leaning up against the wall like this. Just she's got her head up, she's laying back. And I knew she before then she had volleyball and she had a headache. So I'm like, okay, maybe she needed a break. I didn't say anything because I'm like, okay, maybe she needed a break or something, needed to chill. I'm like, all right, I'll take this item and I'm gonna do the big scary here. You take a second. So I did that, and then I come back and I'm like, she's still there. And I go down, I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? She said, I got punched in the face. I'm like, are you kidding me? You got punched in the face by who? Just by that last group. I'm like, oh my God. So,
Who does that, dude? Who
I couldn't, it's a grown ass man, dude.
who hits a little
Like,
girl in the face at a haunted house? People are so stupid.
let me say this. To kind of say something about that, Jack, I don't want to swear too much because I'm really pissed about it. But it says something about that guy. He punched a girl, a little girl, and she took that like a boxer. Yeah. That guy must swing like a BITC. You know where I'm going. So I'm like, funny. How do you, like, I was, oh my gosh. How do you, okay. Anyways, saying about her, dude, after that, I'm like, are you good? Do you need to go leave? I can take care of this. She's like, no, I got this. Let's send it. She pretty much said. She's like, let's run it. And she just goes back to scare acting. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we gave you a scare badge.
Yeah,
that was insane.
The commitment's awesome.
It is. It was there.
The scares were great. The commitment's awesome. The experience was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. It is disappointing when people do stuff like that because you can look at how great the night was, and I thought the night was great, and then you remember that one moment, right, where the girl gets hit in the face, and that's like an ugly spot on the entire night, and you have to make sure that you don't let that ruin the experience, because I would say overall the night was still a net positive. It was still really good. I don't really have anything else I want to say about it. I had a great time. There's some stuff that happened with me afterwards last night that, is personal. But otherwise, I would say it was a good experience. I'm glad I got to do it. I would do it again, but I know my abilities. I know my strengths and weaknesses, and I know that there's only certain places that I'm going to be able to scare act like I did last night because my body says, hey, bro, you're not made for running anymore. You're made for being the big, dumb, intimidating guy. So be the big, dumb, intimidating guy. So be what you're good at. So I had a great time. I enjoyed it a lot. I would definitely do it again if given the opportunity. And yeah. Gage, you have anything else you want to say?
I have one more piece I want to make. I wish they had a camera in the back room so you guys can see me because we with our rag masks pretty much, I can barely see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about you can't be running in there and that, or you can't run. And the problem is with the one I had, you have to quickly move and get in position, and you have to walk up some stairs to do it.
Yes.
And back and forth me doing that. But the thing is, I could barely see, so I'm trying to hold my every time if they had a camera back there, what I'm saying, I'm surprised I haven't wiped out, by the way. I had 0 wipeouts. I did great. I didn't fall. But you would think I looked panicked because every time I leave into that back room area, I hold my head and I'm like, because I'm not panicking. I'm just holding it straight so I can see where the hell the chainsaw or my knife is and stuff. So, yeah. Man, it was a great experience. I genuinely enjoyed it.
Yep.
I definitely want to do it again. And
yeah, I look at the overall experience that we had. Now imagine if we had the 2 girls there with us from the start of the show.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
I want to say
the whole night after they showed up.
We were pretty much getting 7 scares in a row.
Yeah.
In one area, it was insane.
Yeah. So yeah, Jared and Sarah and Lynn came through and they were like, yeah, the room was actually really good. We enjoyed it a lot. You guys actually did really good, which it felt good to hear my brother say that because he's notorious for being like myself, kind of an asshole. And he was like, you guys had really good scares. Like, Gage's scares were great and yours were really well timed. And I was like, wow, that was awesome to hear, you know? And then I'm thinking to myself, I wish they'd come 15 minutes later. Because literally, after they went through, the girl showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish, like, we could do that over again, but with the four of us all night. Like, dude, we would absolutely burn it down. That was great. Yeah, it was a really good time, and I enjoyed it a lot. Any actors or anything out there, we'd like to get your guys' thoughts in the comments below. It was a lot of fun. I definitely would do something like this again. And I think as a now professional scare actor who has years of experience.
Professional scare.
I know. No, I'm just kidding. But I think if I do have any advice to anybody looking to get into scare acting, I think you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. It's like I've been saying this whole video. My strengths, I'm a big dude, I'm strong, and I can be really loud. My weaknesses, I'm not very fast, I can't run, I'm probably not crawling on the floor, I'm too old for that. You know, I'm 38 years old. And so you've got to know your strengths and weaknesses, and I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to bring it home here. I appreciate you guys joining us for our little day after recap of scare acting. I'm Justin with Is It Scary, Wisconsin. I'm joined here by my best friend, Gage. We did have a lot of fun. It was a really good time. And yeah, we look forward to doing this again in the future. Huge shout out to Revenge Haunt in Pulaski. As far as I'm concerned, one of the scariest haunts in the state, for hosting us, for giving us the opportunity. It was awesome. And I really hope we have the chance to do something like this again. And Gage, what do the viewers want to know usually?
Were we scary, Wisconsin?
Nice.